Everyone at the gas station froze when a tiny black girl ran to the most feared man there, a Hell's Angel biker, and whispered, "Please pretend you're my dad." Shocked silence. Her hands were shaking, her eyes were full of tears, trembling voice. Two angry men were coming toward her fast, rising tension. "Come here right now!" they shouted. Angry tone. The biker looked down at the child, and instead of pushing her away, he stepped in front of her like a wall, confident and strong. She whispered, "They hurt me. Don't let them take me back," crying softly. The crowd expected violence, but what happened next changed everything. Suspense. Police sirens screamed in the distance. The girl hugged the biker and said, "You're my dad now," broken but hopeful. What made this dangerous biker risk everything for a stranger's child? And how did one brave whisper expose a dark secret? This is not just a story about fear, it's a story about courage, protection, and an unexpected hero, emotional buildup. Stay till the end because the final goodbye will leave you in tears, heartbreaking promise. Welcome to Heroic Stories Hub, where real courage meets powerful emotions, confident and warm. Here you'll hear stories of ordinary people who become heroes in extraordinary moments, inspiring. Stories that will make you feel fear, hope, and strength all at once, emotional. If you believe even one brave act can change a life, you're in the right place. Powerful message. This is Heroic Stories Hub, where every story has a hero, strong and proud. "Please, please don't let them take me." The little black girl grabbed the leather jacket of the giant biker standing beside her and whispered, "Please pretend you're my dad." Her fingers dug into the thick leather as if it were the only thing keeping her alive. Her knees shook, her eyes were wide with terror. The entire gas station froze. Cars were still running. A soda can fell from someone's hand and rolled across the concrete. No one moved, no one spoke. The girl's name was Lila. She was only 7 years old, wearing a torn yellow dress and no shoes. Dirt covered her legs, her hair was messy, and there were faint marks on her arms. Two grown men were marching toward her from the far side of the parking lot. Their faces were tight with anger. Their steps were fast and heavy. "There she is," one of them yelled. "You little brat, get over here right now." Lila whimpered and pressed herself against the biker's leg. "Please, don't make me go back." The biker looked down slowly. He was huge. His arms were covered in dark tattoos. His beard was thick. His jacket had the words "Hell's Angel" stitched across the back in bold letters. People nearby whispered when they saw him. "He's dangerous," someone murmured. "Poor kid," another said. Everyone expected the biker to pull away. Everyone thought he would tell the girl to leave him alone. Instead, he bent down on one knee and met her eyes. Hey, you're okay," he said softly. "Why are you scared?" Lila's lips trembled. "They say they're my uncles, but they're not kind." The men reached them. "That's our niece," one snapped. "She ran away. Give her to us." The biker stood up slowly. When he rose to his full height, he looked like a wall of muscle and leather. He placed himself between Lila and the men. "She doesn't want to go with you." The shorter man laughed. "Kids don't get to choose." Lila hid her face against the biker's leg. "Please don't let them touch me." The biker clenched his jaw. His fists tightened at his sides. "Why is she shaking like this?" The taller man crossed his arms. "She's dramatic." A woman near the gas pump whispered, "Something is wrong here." Lila peeked out and spoke in a broken voice. "They make me clean all day. They lock me in the room when I cry." Her words hung in the air. People gasped. The biker slowly lowered himself again so he was eye level with her. "Did they hurt you?" Lila nodded once. Her tears slid down her cheeks. The biker stood up and faced the men. His voice dropped low and cold. "You need to step back." The taller man sneered. "Or what?" The biker leaned closer. "Or you'll have a problem you don't want." More people gathered around. Someone pulled out a phone. One man pointed at the biker's jacket. "You think that patch scares us?" The biker didn't blink. No, but her fear should. Lila squeezed his hand tightly. Her small fingers wrapped around one of his thick fingers. "Don't leave me," she whispered. "I'm right here," he said. The men tried to grab her arm. The biker stepped forward instantly and blocked them with his body. "Do not touch her." The parking lot went silent again. One man backed up a step. The other clenched his fists. "You belong to us," he shouted. "She belongs where she's safe." Lila's breathing slowed just a little. She hid behind him completely now. A man in the crowd shouted, "Call the police!" The biker nodded without taking his eyes from the men. Lila whispered, "If they take me back, they'll lock me in the closet again." The biker's face changed, his eyes darkened, his lips pressed into a thin line. He slowly removed his jacket and wrapped it around her shoulders. It covered her small body like armor. "You stay behind me." The men looked around and saw the crowd forming. They realized they were no longer in control. "This isn't over," one growled. The biker took out his phone. "It is for you." Lila looked up at him with wide eyes. "Are you really my dad now?" "For as long as you need one," he answered. Her face crumpled with emotion. She pressed her forehead against his side. Sirens could be heard faintly in the distance. The men stepped back slowly. "You ruined everything," one muttered. "No, you did." Lila held on to him as if he were the only thing between her and the world. And in that moment, at a dusty gas station under the burning sun, a little girl found protection in the arms of someone everyone else feared. The biker gently placed his heavy jacket over Lila's shoulders, wrapping it around her small body like a shield. "Stay right behind me, sweetheart," he said. Lila nodded quickly and pressed her face into his back. The two men stood a few steps away now, breathing hard, their anger mixing with fear as more people gathered around them. "This is none of your business," one of the men shouted. "Give us the girl and walk away." The biker didn't move. He reached into his pocket and slowly pulled out his phone. "It became my business when she said you hurt her," he replied. Lila peeked out from behind him. "Please, don't let them touch me." Her words made the crowd gasp. A woman near the gas pump covered her mouth. A man shook his head. The biker pressed a button on his phone. "Hello, police? There's a child here who says she's being abused and forced to come back with two men." The shorter man panicked. "This is a lie. She's confused." Lila shook her head hard. "I'm not lying." Her knees trembled, but she stayed standing. The taller man stepped forward. "You don't know who you're messing with." Before he could come closer, the biker stepped forward too, blocking him completely. "Do not take another step," the biker warned. The crowd grew thicker. Someone whispered, "Look at that little girl's arms." There were faint bruises visible under the jacket sleeve. Lila's voice cracked. "They lock me in a dark room when I cry. They say I'm bad." Tears ran down her face. The biker turned toward her and knelt again. "You're not bad," he said gently. "You're brave." She looked at him with wide eyes. The men started shouting at once. "She's dramatic. She just wants attention." A man from the crowd stepped forward. "If she's lying, let the police sort it out." The shorter man clenched his fists. The biker stood tall again. Exactly. Suddenly, 2 motorcycles rolled into the parking lot. Their engines roared and then stopped. 2 other bikers stepped off, wearing the same Hell's Angels patches. They looked at the scene and then at the little girl shaking behind their friend. One biker asked quietly, "What's going on?" "She asked me to pretend I'm her dad," the first biker said. The 2 bikers moved beside him without another word, forming a silent wall between Leela and the men. The men glanced around and realized they were outnumbered. Leela whispered, "There are more of you." The biker smiled slightly. "Yeah, and we don't like bullies." Sirens could be heard faintly in the distance. The shorter man backed up. "We should go." "No," the taller one snapped. "She's coming with us." He reached out again. The biker grabbed his wrist mid-air and held it firmly. "Do not touch her." The man froze. The biker released him slowly. Leela placed both hands over her mouth. "You're safe," he whispered to her. Police sirens grew louder. The men started arguing with each other. "This is your fault." "No, it's yours." When the police cars pulled in, the crowd stepped back. 2 officers got out and looked at the scene. "What's happening here?" one of the officers asked. Before anyone else could speak, Leela ran straight into the biker's arms. "They hurt me," she said. "Please don't let them take me." The biker knelt and kept one arm around her. "She says those men abuse her," he told the officers. The men began shouting again. "She's lying! She's our niece!" The officer raised a hand. Everyone calm down. Leela looked up at the biker. "Don't leave me." "I won't," he said without hesitation. The officer crouched down to Leela's level. "Can you tell me what happened?" Leela took a deep breath. Her voice shook as she spoke. "They make me clean all day. If I stop, they yell. If I cry, they lock me in the closet. I ran away this morning." The crowd gasped again. One woman wiped her eyes. The officers looked at the men, their expressions hardened. The biker stayed kneeling beside Leela, never letting go of her hand. "She was terrified when she came to me," he said. The officers separated the men and questioned them. The men's stories didn't match. One officer nodded to the other. The sound of handcuffs clicked in the air. "You ruined everything!" the men shouted. Leela flinched. The biker wrapped both arms around her. "They can't hurt you now." She buried her face in his chest. An officer asked him, "Are you her father?" The biker looked down at Leela. She looked back up at him with watery eyes. "For today, I am," he said. Leela nodded slowly. "My dad now." They sat on the curb while the police handled everything. Leela leaned against him, finally breathing easier. "I was so scared," she whispered. "You were brave," he replied. Sirens faded. The crowd slowly dispersed. But Leela did not let go of his hand. In the middle of chaos, she had found one person who chose to stand between her and her fear. The sun was beginning to set when a small blue car rushed into the parking lot and stopped suddenly near the police vehicles. A woman jumped out of the car, her face pale, her eyes wide with fear. "Lila!" she cried out. Lila looked up from the biker's chest. Her body stiffened for 1 second, then her face changed completely. "Mom!" she screamed. She broke free from the biker's arms and ran as fast as her small legs could carry her. Her mother dropped to her knees and caught her in a tight embrace. "Oh, my baby! My baby!" They held each other for a long time, shaking, crying, and breathing in relief. "I thought I lost you," the mother whispered. "I was scared," Lila said. "But he protected me." She pointed back at the biker. The mother looked at him, tears filling her eyes. She walked toward him slowly, still holding Lila's hand. "You saved my daughter," she said. The biker lowered his head slightly. "She saved herself," he replied. "She was brave enough to ask for help." Lila hugged her mother's leg but kept looking at the biker. A social worker stepped forward. "Ma'am, we need to take your statement," she said gently. "Anything, I just want my child safe." The biker stayed nearby, sitting on the curb, as Lila and her mother spoke with the officers and the social worker. He didn't interrupt, he just watched. Lila kept glancing back at him every few seconds. When the questions were over, the social worker knelt in front of Lila. "You're very brave," she said. Lila whispered, "He was my dad today." The biker felt something tighten in his chest. The social worker smiled gently. "Sometimes heroes don't wear capes," she said. The biker stood up slowly and walked toward Lila and her mother. "I didn't mean to scare her," he said quietly. "I just didn't want her alone." The mother shook her head. "She wasn't scared of you," she said. "She felt safe with you." Lila ran to him again and wrapped her arms around his waist. "You said you'd be my dad for today," she whispered. He knelt down and looked at her. "And I meant it." The crowd that had gathered earlier watched from a distance. People who had once looked at him with fear now looked at him with respect. A man from the crowd spoke quietly. "I thought bikers were dangerous." Another replied, "Looks like one just saved a child." Lila's mother wiped her tears and said, "We were running from those men for weeks. I couldn't protect her alone." The biker listened carefully. "She ran away this morning because she was scared," the mother continued, crying softly. "I thought I lost her forever." Lila squeezed her mother's hand. "You didn't lose me," Lila said. The biker reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a small metal badge from his vest, the Hell's Angel patch. He held it in his hand for a moment, thinking. Then he knelt in front of Lila and placed it gently in her palm. "This is for courage," he said. "For me?" She stared at it with wide eyes. "For the bravest girl I met today." Tears filled her eyes again. "I'll keep it forever." Her mother placed a hand over her mouth. "Thank you," she said again. The biker stood and stepped back slowly. Police cars began to leave. The crowd slowly disappeared. The gas station returned to normal. But something had changed. Lila walked toward the biker one last time. "Will I see you again?" she asked. He thought for a moment. "Maybe not," he said honestly. "But you'll always remember you were strong today." She nodded. "And you were my dad." The biker swallowed hard. Lila's mother picked her up. "Say goodbye," she whispered. Lila waved. "Bye, Dad." The biker raised his hand slowly. "Goodbye, sweetheart." They walked back to their car together. Lila turned one last time and held up the badge. The car drove away. The biker stood alone in the parking lot. The wind moved his jacket slightly. For the first time in years, his eyes filled with tears. People passed him by, but no one laughed and no one judged. They simply nodded. He looked at the place where Lila had stood. "I was only pretending," he whispered to himself, "but it felt real." That night, a little girl went home safe, and a man known for fear discovered something greater than strength. The lesson was simple but strong. Heroes don't always look kind. Family doesn't always share blood, and sometimes one brave moment can change two lives forever.